The Commission for Independent Education has changed the way schools will participate remotely in meetings. Moving forward, CIE will be using Zoom Webinar, and there are a few differences to be aware of. The first process to be aware of is registration. When you click on the invitation link on CIE's homepage, you will be taken to a registration page. This page has 5 questions that must be filled in: first name, last name, email, confirmation of your email, and organization name. After you register, you will receive an email that includes the Zoom link to access the webinar. Please do not share this link, as it will only work with one device per registrant. If you have multiple people calling in, they should all register individually. On the day of the meeting, we advise you to have only one device in the room. Multiple devices in the same room can lead to audio problems that make it difficult for the commissioners to hear you and for you to hear them. If you have multiple people from your team on the call, they should all be in separate locations. When the meeting starts, all of the schools will be listed as attendees. Attendees cannot display their video camera and cannot turn on their microphone unless asked to do so by a moderator. But attendees can ask questions using the Q&A feature. Please note, questions are displayed publicly, so do not put any sensitive or private information in the Q&A. During the meeting, when your school is recognized, you will need to raise your digital hand, which will help moderators find you in the list of attendees logged into the meeting. When this happens, you will be asked to unmute your microphone. Once you unmute yourself, you will be able to speak. If you call in using a phone instead of a computer, you can raise your digital hand by pressing *9 and unmute yourself by pressing *6. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you at the next meeting. The Commission for Independent Education has changed the way schools will participate remotely in meetings. Moving forward, CIE will be using Zoom Webinar, and there are a few differences to be aware of. The first process to be aware of is registration. When you click on the invitation link on CIE's homepage, you will be taken to a registration page. This page has 5 questions that must be filled in: first name, last name, email, confirmation of your email, and organization name. After you register, you will receive an email that includes the Zoom link to access the webinar. Please do not share this link, as it will only work with one device per registrant. If you have multiple people calling in, they should all register individually. On the day of the meeting, we advise you to have only one device in the room. Multiple devices in the same room can lead to audio problems that make it difficult for the commissioners to hear you and for you to hear them. If you have multiple people from your team on the call, they should all be in separate locations. When the meeting starts, all of the schools will be listed as attendees. Attendees cannot display their video camera and cannot turn on their microphone unless asked to do so by a moderator. But attendees can ask questions using the Q&A feature. Please note, questions are displayed publicly, so do not put any sensitive or private information in the Q&A. During the meeting, when your school is recognized, you will need to raise your digital hand, which will help moderators find you in the list of attendees logged into the meeting. When this happens, you will be asked to unmute your microphone. Once you unmute yourself, you will be able to speak. If you call in using a phone instead of a computer, you can raise your digital hand by pressing *9 and unmute yourself by pressing *6. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you at the next meeting. The Commission for Independent Education has changed the way schools will participate remotely in meetings. Moving forward, CIE will be using Zoom Webinar, and there are a few differences to be aware of. The first process to be aware of is registration. When you click on the invitation link on CIE's homepage, you will be taken to a registration page. This page has 5 questions that must be filled in: first name, last name, email, confirmation of your email, and organization name. After you register, you will receive an email that includes the Zoom link to access the webinar. Please do not share this link, as it will only work with one device per registrant. If you have multiple people calling in, they should all register individually. On the day of the meeting, we advise you to have only one device in the room. Multiple devices in the same room can lead to audio problems that make it difficult for the commissioners to hear you and for you to hear them. If you have multiple people from your team on the call, they should all be in separate locations. When the meeting starts, all of the schools will be listed as attendees. Attendees cannot display their video camera and cannot turn on their microphone unless asked to do so by a moderator. But attendees can ask questions using the Q&A feature. Please note, questions are displayed publicly, so do not put any sensitive or private information in the Q&A. During the meeting, when your school is recognized, you will need to raise your digital hand, which will help moderators find you in the list of attendees logged into the meeting. When this happens, you will be asked to unmute your microphone. Once you unmute yourself, you will be able to speak. If you call in using a phone instead of a computer, you can raise your digital hand by pressing *9 and unmute yourself by pressing *6. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you at the next meeting.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Director, are we ready to launch in here?
We are ready. The meeting is called to order.
This is the Commission for Independent Education. I am Trey Williams. Today is March 27th, 2025. Ms. Hood, good morning to you, young lady. Could we please have a roll call?
Good morning. Commissioner Williams.
I am here.
Commissioner Cross.
Here.
Commissioner Taylor Ellis.
Present.
Commissioner Marty. Commissioner Stefano. Commissioner Caballero.
Present.
Commissioner Batista.
Here.
Well, thank you for joining us all this morning. It is now time for the Pledge of Allegiance, virtually as it were. Please stand for that. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the
United
United
States of
States
America
of America
and to the republic
for which it
stands,
stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty
liberty and justice for all.
Outstanding. Well, thank you for being here this morning. This meeting has 2 viewing options as follows. You can use option 1 if you wish to view the meeting. Navigate to the Commission's agenda information webpage and click on the webcast link available for today, obviously. Today's agenda addresses degree granting institutions. These links will direct you to a live feed video of the meeting that will be used for viewing purposes only. This does not allow anyone to communicate with the Commission or staff. Please use option 2 if you need to communicate with the Commission in today's meeting, including institutions on the agenda. You navigate to the webcast link, pardon me, to the webcast link referenced a moment ago and locate the Zoom webinar registration link under the video. There's a separate registration link for each day. Today's link will not work tomorrow and vice versa. You must register separately for each day, and this link will send a confirmation email that contains additional instructions on how to proceed with viewing the information. When registering, please note the following. A separate registration is required for each user. Shared logins are not allowed. And when registering, please enter your school name as it appears on the agenda. This helps us understand who's where and what connects. The confirmation email contains instructions for dialing in. should you want to use audio through your phone. If your school is called, please raise your digital hand and unmute yourself. We will request that you do so, but as a reminder, and during the meeting, please ensure your devices remain muted unless you're speaking with the commission. It's recommended that only one device be in the same room at a time. Otherwise, we get a feedback loop that no one wants to hear. And for users who use the dial-in feature, you can press *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute your phone. There's technical assistance using Zoom, technical support website link identified at the CIE website. All right. Due to this being a virtual meeting, we will forego the traditional introduction of visitors, but we do appreciate you being here on a clear and beautiful Florida morning. And we ask that any of the individuals speaking with the commission on behalf of an institution, please state your full name and relationship to the school prior to speaking. Our first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. And next, we will consider minutes from the January 30th and 31st of 2025 today. Commissioners, can I have a motion to approve January's minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Those minutes are approved. Section 5 is reports. Ms. Hurst, I am looking forward to your executive director's report.
Good morning, all, and thank you for being here. So we have no citations to report during this meeting, and our Student Protection Fund balance is $4,358,973.85. So during this meeting, we are voting on our chair and vice chair for the remaining 2025 dates. At this time, I would like to open nominations to the commission for the commission chair role. Would anyone like to make a motion to nominate a member?
Nominate Mr. Trey Williams.
Yeah. Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, is all in favor to nominate and appoint Commissioner Trey Williams as the commission chair?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion to nominate Commissioner Trey Williams for the commission chair passes. Congratulations. And we will also now vote on our vice chair. At this time, I would like to open nominations for our commissioner vice chair role. Would anyone like to make a motion to nominate a member?
Motion to Stefano.
Second.
Is there any discussion on the nomination of Commissioner Troy Stefano and appointment of Troy Stefano as the vice chair of the commission? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion to nominate and appoint Commissioner Troy Stefano for vice chair passes. Thank you and congratulations. All right, so we rarely have to do this, but sadly enough, this is the last meeting for one of our commission members. So I would like to say a little farewell message to our Commissioner Sharon Taylor Ellis. So today will be her last commission meeting. Commissioner Taylor Ellis, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude for your dedication, hard work, and your invaluable contributions to the CIE. Throughout your time serving as a commissioner and your probable cause panelist, you have brought a wealth of knowledge, insight, and passion. Your leadership and vision have guided our decisions and helped shape the future of our commission. We are incredibly fortunate to have had the opportunity to work alongside someone of your caliber throughout these last couple of years. Thank you for your tireless efforts, your thoughtful perspectives, and your unwavering support. Your legacy will continue to influence our work for years to come, and your contributions will not be forgotten. We wish you all the best in your future endeavors and trust that you will continue to make a positive impact wherever you go. You will be greatly missed, personally by me and by all the staff at the commission, but we wish you the absolute best, and we will miss you, seeing you each month and a half. And with that being said, I would like to open up the floor to any other commissioners that would like to make any comments to Sharon Taylor Ellis, as this is her last meeting.
I'd love to point out that I'd like to say that still waters run deep, and Commissioner Taylor Ellis was perhaps not the most frequent speaker on the commission, but when she spoke, it was really content that was both valuable to the commission and to the school that we were addressing at the time. And I've had her on my left, sitting in that vice chair for a couple of years, and Sharon, you'll be really missed.
Thank you.
I'll echo Trey's thoughts here and just say, you will be missed, Sharon. It's been a joy working with you for the last 2 years, 2.5 plus years. And you were my partner sitting next to me. So we'll certainly miss you. We'll leave a big void with your absence, but wish you well in your next endeavor.
You may not miss having Jeff on one side of you and me on the other.
Thank you all. And as you can see, I take it personally. Sorry, I am leaving the commission only because I'm moving to Virginia. These 3 years have been an absolute honor, and I've enjoyed working with all of you, and I believe in everything the commission does. And as I move to Virginia, at some point I hope to support this state when I move up to Virginia. And until then, Florida's in my heart, and I believe in everything that you do. And it's been an honor. Thank you.
Well, Virginia's for lovers, and we love you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Commissioner Sharon Taylor Ellis. And we're glad you're here with us for the rest of the day. I had to actually write out my speech so I didn't tear up on the camera. So I was proud of myself. I made it all the way through.
You got me, though, and I'm off camera for just a moment here.
Sorry, you'll have this video for forever. So the next order of business is with Commissioner Sharon Taylor Ellis vacating her position as a commissioner and a probable cause panelist. We do need to appoint a new probable cause panelist. I am recommending appointing Commissioner Jeff Cross to replace Sharon Taylor Ellis on that panel. Newly elected Chair Williams, would you like to appoint Commissioner Cross to the probable cause panel?
It would be my pleasure to do so, and thank you for your willingness to serve on that panel, Commissioner Cross.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And is there any discussion with appointing Commissioner Cross to the probable cause panel? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The appointment of Jeff Cross for probable cause panelist passes. Congratulations, Commissioner Cross. We look forward to working with you in that aspect.
Thank you.
And that concludes my executive director report for today.
I would like to add a note that I found a virtual gavel on YouTube that I spared everyone from today. And I was excited when I first found it, but then I decided against using it. So you're welcome. Councilor Gento, would you please provide our legal counsel report?
Chair Williams, that is a tough act to follow, and so I will not. No, I do not have a report at this time.
Well, that is good news. Okay, so then we move on to item number 6, degree institutional licensure issues. And section A of that is institutions ordered to appear back before the commission. We have 3 of these. I believe we are taking these individually. And number 1 is New York Film Academy, Miami, number 5251. If you were here from that, wait. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand. Or director, am I skipping something? I'm looking at the script here.
Nope, you're correct.
Okay, I'm correct. Okay. And introduce yourself.
I am Effie Stigman, the outside accountant.
I am Kalaine Schaefer, the compliance officer.
Good morning, this is Sunny Calderon. I'm the Vice President for Academic Affairs.
Thank you for joining us this morning, guys. We really appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having us.
Uh, Commissioners, I've opened the floor for any discussion.
Chair, if I could start, I just want to say phenomenal progress. I'm not sure what happened, but complete turnaround it looks like in the financials. So well done.
Unfortunately, I just wanted to update the commission. I don't know if you have received this yet, but thank you so much for that. Unfortunately, after careful consideration, we have submitted our official notification of closure to the commission. We will be continuing with our summer 25 and semester, but closing on August 31st, 2025. We did a more thorough review of our current financial circumstances and external factors that are presenting additional challenges. And we've come to this terrible decision. We did report that our financial circumstances based on enrollment haven't improved as much, though they have improved, we do acknowledge. And we have gone through recent cost-cutting changes to the administration and reductions in location costs. But particularly for our Miami campus, it has not improved as much as it needed to for the health of our entire institution. And given this reality, to ensure the long-term financial health of NYFA as a whole, we have decided that it is best to close our Miami campus and teach out the relatively small number of NYFA Miami students. We are early in our transition plan, but we have identified our students. We have 46 current students. 17 are graduating before our closure date. 4 are already in the process of transferring to a different NYFA location on their own accord. And so we are looking at teach out plans for 29 current students, 1 student who would have returned from a leave of absence. We will be meeting with the student body later today at 1 p.m. EST and then sending out an email notification. And I notified the commission earlier this week, and we received our checklist. And Sunny can speak more to the teach out, and Effie can speak more to the financial review. We hope to facilitate the transition, of course, support it, in a supportive and financially viable manner. We're including relocation grants for each student. And we hope that each of our students will finish out their studies at either NYFA New York or NYFA LA. And of course, we're looking at other Florida schools if a move is not possible for our students.
Director, you're in receipt of all of those notifications. I know that they probably came in after what the commission has been provided.
They did. So we have received the closure notification from the institution, and we will work with that institution to provide proper teach out for all of the remaining students. So we will be in close contact with them. The matter at hand before you is still up for vote for accepting their financial progress report, because that is a requirement from their clerked order, a previous clerked order, for them to provide reports to the commission.
So obviously, we're still going to, at the end of this, ask for a motion on the staff recommendations, but do we need to amend it or add anything in based on this information in any way?
We do not.
Okay. Well, I'd like to add in that I really, really appreciate you guys being here and taking a proactive approach to this. I'm sure you have been on some of these or physically at some of these conversations when schools question why perhaps staff are taking a close look and having a lot of scrutiny regarding financials, and you guys are a proactive, positive example of why we have those collaborative conversations early in the process and try to identify those needs before they happen. I know you guys would rather be open and growing. And you obviously
Yes.
have a culture of compliance and proactively notifying us and talking through the steps necessary for teach out means a lot to us. Really unfortunate, but still a good example of why these things are important to talk about ahead of time. Do you guys feel comfortable in your financial position to navigate that teach out process? I know you're still kind of forming up what it is, but I know it'll take a little while. What do you guys think about that?
Effie or Sunny, do you want to speak to that? My understanding is that we are comfortable and confident that we'll be able to do this teach out process, you know, and provide our students a smooth transition through summer 25. We're very committed to it. You know,
Okay.
As a small school, one of the perks of being a smaller school is you know all your students so intimately. So it's a real. It's always going to be a blow, but it's a real blow when you know them so well, and we're very committed to it. But I want to make sure that Sunny and Effie also chime in.
Yes, and so this is Sunny. We're budgeting for a relocation grant for any student who chooses to transfer to one of New York Film Academy's other campuses, and we also will be honoring any sort of institutional aid, of course, that any of these students are already receiving from NYFA in the form of tuition discounts or grants. Those, of course, will carry over to any other New York Film Academy campus. So yes, this was all budgeted for any student who requires additional aid. If there's pressing financial need, we'll be able to work with our transition team. The transition team is made up of me, the campus dean, the various campus deans, our registrar, our Office of Academic Affairs, who will work on the specific transfers and degree audits and credit requirements. Our bursar, we have an entire team. We're connecting out. We're going to be connecting our Miami students with our school therapists in New York and Los Angeles, and in case they are looking to process this news that they're receiving today. I mean, I'm choking up a little bit here. I was there approximately a decade ago when we opened this location, and it really has been such a joy and a pleasure and a point of pride that we had this location in Miami for so long. And I work closely with Colleen, and we both appreciate so much what the commission has done with us over the years, and the very, very productive and positive relationship we've had. I can pass it over to Effie now just to sort of talk about how it just simply, in the overall scheme of things financially, it just wasn't going to be sustainable into the future. But we will absolutely do everything to make sure that the students themselves will not suffer financially in any way for this transition.
Thank you for that, guys. My only metaphor for that is, you know, how the effort you put in once a battle has been decided sort of defines you as a fighter, and I applaud and appreciate you guys' commitment, knowing there's an inevitability out there, but still making sure that, you know, the level of effort and commitment doesn't change until that happens. So thank you. Really, really appreciate that. And with that, commissioners, do you have any other discussion? Or otherwise, I think we would look for a motion to accept the financial progress report, which is the next step in this progress. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any opposed? No, I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you again for being here. I'm confident you'll have lots of communication with director and staff over the coming weeks, and we look forward to you executing that plan.
Thank you.
Thank you
We
so
really
much. Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.
The next institution ordered to appear back before the commission is South Florida College of Nursing, Doral, number 5697. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand and introduce yourself. We have anyone on the line?
Yeah. Good morning, commissioners. This is Dr. Henry Oliveira, the Dean and the CEO of South Florida College of Nursing.
Good morning, doctor. How are you?
Good morning. This is Adriana Hurley, ASN Director here at South Florida College of Nursing.
Good morning, Ms. Hardy. How are you?
Good morning. This is Chris Gutierrez, Chief Financial Officer.
And good morning, members of the commission. David Fierro, COO.
Good morning, commissioners. Perlita Walters Gillum, Compliance Officer.
Well, it sounds like there are 5 of you here. Is there a 6th? I don't want to begin if there's someone else.
We're all here, sir.
Okay, great. I didn't want to interject if there was a 6th because I can't see how many of you there are. Well, thank you for all of you being here this morning. I really appreciate that. I know we're here to talk about your NCLEX pass rate and progress report, and I'm going to open the floor to the commissioners to have a discussion around that.
Chair, if I could ask the director a question here on page 12 and 15 of the report. There's USF pass rates involved listed there. So I don't know if that's a submission error or if that's just our internal error, but the 348 is a USF Tampa number. Their numbers are also in there, but I just don't know if that was submitted incorrectly or if that's our own documentation that's incorrect.
That is our own documentation that is incorrect.
Okay. So they're standing at 71.4% on ASN. So much better progress than 23, right?
Correct, sir. And we have also some great news based on our remediation plan that we have really have improved. David can speak about it if the floor is open.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, so quarter 1 has actually been really strong for us. We're pleased to report that we've actually had the best quarter since our inception. We're 12 out of 13. Nice. NCLEX first time pass rate for a 92.31%. We feel like we are able to maintain this throughout for the rest of the year. We actually began the remediation plan early last year. We submitted to be proactive as we started seeing things that weren't going as planned, and thankfully, based on these root cause analysis. Yeah, we did a root cause analysis where we really identified all these factors that contributed to the pass rates that we're seeing now. And we did have flashes last year. For instance, in quarter 2 of 2024, we saw a really strong 10 for 11. So as a result, we're seeing that these new remediation plans that we put in place are starting to really come to light, and we feel strong that we're able to carry this out for the remaining of the year.
It's great news. Well done.
Thank you.
Can I ask you what some of those contributing factors were that you said you identified?
Absolutely. So we found out that it's definitely multifaceted. It's really not just one area, but one of the main things that we saw was it's not just based on one type of exit report. It's a combination of things. We definitely identified where, like I mentioned, one score does not really tell the whole story. It really is a remediation effort to identify, the areas that the students are weak on. So by numerous testing and doing personalized remediation plans with each student, we've been able to really see an improvement on the pass rate.
Also, please note that we did do an internal assessment, and we did educate more our staff on how to implement certain teaching strategies. We also went ahead and we did a whole curriculum revision. And that actually showed us that some of the improvement, which was our responsibility, and that's why we take full accountability of our bumps. It's not just the student component, it's actually the institution component. So we ended up re-educating all our staff, gave more roles to our director of our ASN program, and we have done a lot of follow through and a lot of monitoring, and also increased and altered our program to a point that we are actually waiting for CIE to approve us our modification that we're still waiting for. It's about already almost a year, but we are working on that. Our creditors already pre-approved us, but once CIE give us the okay, then we'll also start more of our modification. Today's meeting is to respond to the clerk order from last year, and we did present before to CIE our progress last year, and this meeting was supposed to be in January, but I guess there was a mishap, so that's why we're here today, and we're giving you your report and the good news. We're very proud of all our students. All our graduates are passing and they're getting jobs right away. As a matter of fact, hospitals are calling for our students hand in hand.
All of that's great news. I got to say, it's probably in retrospect, might look like an anomaly in years to come, because that was a very quick turnaround, and appreciate your proactive efforts to get out ahead of it. Commissioners, any additional discussion? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations?
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Congrats on your good work and increasing your numbers, guys.
Thank you very much, sir. Everybody have a wonderful day, and we
Thank you.
also miss the commissioner. Good luck on your new journey.
Thank you.
Darren, we're going to make you cry 2 more times before this is over.
No more.
I want to let you guys know that the reports that the director and staff provide us don't play nice with my Apple computer. And when you see me looking away, I'm not unfocused on this. I have a state computer that I'm also looking at these on. So please don't think that I'm trying to engage in another conversation while we're in the middle of this, because I'm not physically capable of that. The next item on the agenda is Taylor College Ocala number 2515. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand and introduce yourself.
My name is Jeff Jortson, campus president at Taylor College.
And this is Bob Harris, legal counsel with Messer Caparola, representing Taylor College. Good morning.
Good morning to you both. Thank you for being here. I know we're here to discuss NCLEX pass rate progress report for you guys. Any updates that perhaps have happened between the information that we're assessing and now?
Yeah, we've had a lot of good progress as well. This year we are 19 for 19 on our overall NCLEX results. We're at 100%. We had a grad class. I mean, a lot of that progress has happened because of working with the students to test, right after graduation. As everybody knows, the longer they wait after graduation, the less likely they are to pass the NCLEX the first time. So, of a grad class in December of 20 students, we've had 16 already take and pass the NCLEX, and we're looking at our April grad class of 25, and to do a lot of the same things that we did last time to make sure that we have the same outcomes for the rest of the year.
Well, congratulations. You can't complain about 19 for 19, right?
No, we'll take it.
Commissioners, any discussion?
I'd just like to make a comment that I was pleased to see that they were adding in the NCLEX review course and making it mandatory. I, from experience, have found that it's very, very effective for the students, that it becomes part of the overall curriculum toward the end of the program. And it has, just again, through experience, has improved students passing the NCLEX exam. So good move. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you. Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, I agree 100%.
Thank you for that, Commissioner Batista.
Hey, commissioners? Yeah. Commissioners, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Bob Harris. Let me add really quickly that as Jeff said, this whole issue of students taking the test early, is something not only for this institution has worked well, but something I think the commission really needs to focus on. And for some time, when the Florida Center for Nursing issued their report for 2024 and gave a report to the legislature recently, within the last month, about that, it shows that if students take the test more than 90 days after, the percentage rate drops down across the board, public and private schools, into the 70s, from the 90s into the 70s. So it's really something that I hope we can make a part of the requirement for renewals of all programs, new programs and existing programs, is what steps they are taking to get students to test earlier. It's amazing, the difference, and I just think it's something that needs to be a focus, much more of a focus moving forward. But thank you, and Taylor College has done good work in that regard.
Thank you, Counselor. It's certainly perishable skills.
Yeah, it is.
Commissioners, any additional discussion? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for Taylor College number 2515?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you guys for being here, and congratulations on your progress. It's exemplary.
Thank you very much.
And Commissioner Ellis, while the legislature in session, we can change the law to allow Virginia residents to be on the commission. So just let me know over the next few days whether you still want to be on.
I already looked into that through Executive Director Hurst, and she passed that through a while back, and we got a no. So
well,
honestly,
we can always change the law.
I love this commission. I believe in everything that we do, that you do. It's been a great honor, but we got a no on that one. So I'm going to be going solo to Virginia without CIE.
All right, we'll miss you. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a good idea, though, Counselor.
All right.
All right, let me try to catch up here. The next item on the agenda, application for a provisional licensure. There are 4 items that we will take individually. The first is, if I say this right, Duarte University of Cognitive Sciences, Hollywood, number 13259. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand and introduce yourself.
Good morning, commissioners and staff. This is Dr. Jose Otero of Otero Consulting Group. I am here with the owner of the university, Dr. Duarte. Dr. Duarte.
Hey, good morning, Commissioner. This is Dr. Duarte. I am the president of the Duarte University of Cognitive Science.
Thank you both for being here. Really appreciate your time today. Commissioners, we have any discussion? Before we take a motion, I want to just point out the 120-day prior to scheduled renewal date. Let me look at this real quick. Okay, that's going to be, never mind, that's a year from now. Okay. Is this still online, 100% online delivery?
Yes.
Okay. And so no part of that is being taught outside of the online curriculum?
No.
Commissioners, do you have any additional questions or comments? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you both for being here this morning. Really appreciate your time. Okay, the next item, IBECAM, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I apologize. University Doral, number 13138. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand and unmute yourself.
Good morning, commissioners. This is Edgar Canela from Super Strategy, representing our client, Ibecam University. Here with me is Mr. Diego Castro, the president and founder, as well as the executive director, Frances Yahia. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, commissioners.
Thank you all for being here. Could you pronounce the word one more time? I don't want to butcher it.
Ibecam University.
Ibecam. I'll try to do my best with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is 100% online, synchronous, but it says right after that, and asynchronous delivery for this. So that makes me question whether it's 100% online, I suppose. Can you help shine some light on how this is being matriculated?
It is going to be full online delivery. The asynchronous component through the Moodle platform will be discussion boards and submission of assignments. The synchronistic part will be live participation on the online platform that will be recorded as well for students who can't attend live.
Very, very helpful. Thank you.
Welcome.
Commissioners, any discussion? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for Ibecam University, Doral, number 13138?
So
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Number 3 in section B is International University of Miami, Doral, number 13278. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand and introduce yourself.
Good morning, commissioners. This is Gemma Nieto, a consultant for International University of Miami.
Good morning. This is Mark Murray, legal counsel for International University of Miami.
This is Miguel. I'm a director of administration.
Well, thank you all for being here. Really appreciate your time. I'm assuming you guys have seen the contingencies that we would be looking for a motion on, namely the updated enrollment agreement, et cetera. I realize that those may have perhaps been submitted, but we're looking at trailing information. I don't know if that's the case.
Yes, the updated enrollment agreement has been submitted to the program specialist already.
Outstanding. Commissioners, any discussion? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 13278?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Congratulations, guys. Thank you for navigating the process correctly.
Thank you so much, commissioners.
Thank you so much.
And briefly, this is Mark Murray, and I wanted to say I second what everyone is saying. Commissioner Taylor Ellis, you will be missed.
Thank you, Mark. Good seeing you again.
You too.
Thank you.
So next item on the list is Loyola Institute of Public Affairs, St. Pete, number 12944. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. Hello, distinguished commission. My name is Malcolm Oliver, and I serve as the CEO of Loyola Institute of Public Affairs. It's an honor and a privilege to be here before you today.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate your time. Are you aware of the staff recommendations that we would be looking for a motion on?
Yes, if you can go over them, I would be grateful. If you need me to articulate anything, I'm available.
I want to make sure that you understand what is the motion that we would be seeking. There's a staff recommendation that finds that the institution has failed to be in substantial compliance, meaning that this application for provisional licensure would be denied.
Yes, I've worked with the commission staff for some time. I'm grateful for all their guidance and direction. What I'm seeking is to respectfully request that the commission consider taking action under section 6E 2.002B and place conditions on this approval. One, a bond of $10,000. Two, a cap on first-year student enrollments to 20. And three, include assessment data of retention, acquisition of workforce skills, and instructional quality for the one-year review. This would mitigate the risk addressed by CIE staff, and this item will be brought back before the commission with assessment data in a year.
Thanks for that. My first instinct is to determine what your fixed cost operational overhead is. That bond sounds extraordinarily small. If we're thinking of a one-year provisional licensure, do you know what your operating overhead is each month?
Yes, each month for the operating overhead with a cap on enrollment at 20 students, it would be approximately $8,000. The challenge is that we have provided the setup cost, but the course development and the instructional cost is where we do have issues. With that being said, we do have, since we have a religious mission, we do have people from the public service field who've signed up to say that they will teach, work with our instructional designers and build our first set of courses on a voluntary basis. I will go ahead and pay them $1,000 stipends for their subject matter expertise. But since it's a labor-intensive endeavor, that's where the high cost is.
So, did I hear you correctly? Your courses are not built?
Not all of them. The ones for the graduate degree programs are.
Okay, so during this provisional period, unless I'm getting this wrong, you're not actually allowed to add new programs. So the voluntary work wouldn't really result in a offset of operational overhead because you can't realize that revenue. Do I have that right, Director?
Well, we have submitted our course provision and development schedule, which we build as we go, because for online courses, there's a lot of initial development that goes into the instructional design process, and the way that our courses will be set up. Our instructors will have to teach to what has been developed. So that's what we've done.
Okay. So when you were talking about building courses, are you talking about beyond the 4 that I'm looking at that were part of your?
No, we're talking about the 4 programs that are there.
Okay. So the curriculum for those 4 have not been for all four of those has not been created. Am I saying that
fully
right?
built out, have not been fully built out. But we do have a course development schedule for the courses that will be our initial launch. Those courses have started and they will be ready to launch on March 1st, 2025. And it takes us 8 to 12 weeks to build out courses. And they, on the schedule that we've developed, they will be ready in sync to go as our students progress along in their degree programs.
Okay, I thought I heard you say March 1st. That's this past.
Sorry, May 1st. May 1st. I'm sorry.
Okay.
May 1st.
Okay. I feel like there's a little bit of a chicken and the egg here, for lack of a better metaphor, for the cost associated with development and the licensure and the burn rate on that. I don't see updated financials. Obviously, this trails is. Can you give me some insight, to your liquidity and ability to prop what sounds like a program still in development up that quickly? I mean, you're talking about 60 days less. Actually, I'm sorry, 30 days. That sounds like a sprint to get that done. Particularly, I mean, the old adage, you can have something high quality, inexpensive, or quickly, choose two. And you're rarely able to do those three things in concert together. Has your financial status changed at all? From the working capital closeout that I'm looking at, it feels exactly as staff indicated and incapable of supporting that. Is something different than what we're looking at?
Well, that was the financials that were submitted. We've been in the process for quite some time.
Yes, sir.
And we have enough in the bank today to build the courses and to run the program, at least one program for 1 year. With the cap on students, we'll be able to run one program for 1 year and be able to bring back assessment data for full evaluation by the commission in 1 year.
The cap on students also is strange to me because that feels like it may actually limit your ability. I'm just surprised you would suggest that, because I would think if liquidity is the challenge, that may actually perpetuate your problem for a little while.
Well, the concerns by the commission are financial. My goal is to mitigate that concern.
Right. That's what I'm saying, though, is your fixed costs are fixed regardless of the number of students you have. The incremental cost associated with enrollment, your cost of goods, so to speak. And I may ask Commissioner Caballero to jump in here in a second, but limiting your enrollment actually sounds like it may perpetuate the constraint. Your constraint on cash is my point. So I'm surprised that you make that recommendation. Caballero, I know you're looking at those financials now. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Well, my biggest concern is they're still behind on capital. Do you have any prospective students already in the pipeline? Because if you're ready,
we do. Yes, we do. We're looking at a first cohort of 15.
And I guess I'm trying to look what the tuition would be and how quickly could the cash flow be provided by those 15 that will allow you to operate?
Well, we've listed the tuition on the documents, but students will pay as they go. So if the students pay for the first course to launch, we would have that to move through, to go through. But that's what we have. That's where we are. That gives us enough to move through. But since I've been managing programs for quite some time, I know the devil's in the details, and sometimes unanticipated things do come up. So we do have the platform, we do have the courses, we do have the instructors. We have students for a first cohort that would be small, but we are okay with running that first cohort because we also know that there are concerns on our financials. With that being said, that would give us enough to be able to operate for 1 year, to have a solid foundation, and then come back to the commission after 1 year.
And that's based on the presumption that those students would be providing some portion of cash flow that you don't currently have. So let me quantify this for you real quick. What I'm looking at here shows less than $16,000 in total assets, most of which is cash. Is your financial position different than that now? That you understand why we would be concerned? We're talking about two master's level, one doctoral level, one bachelor's program, and less than $16,000 to write curriculum that apparently is not finished, enroll students who have yet to begin instruction, and that it just sounds very ambitious.
Yeah, I clearly understand your concerns, and I've been watching the commission hearings for the past couple of years. So your concerns are completely founded. One, to lower our startup cost, we have an MOU with Straighterline to provide our undergraduate general education courses. That greatly reduces our startup costs for the provision of undergraduate general education courses. For the bachelor's level and MPA program courses, we will be using the same what's called subject matter experts to develop those courses, and there's alignment with the overarching fields that are there. We found a way to lower the cost in developing two different levels of courses there. For the master's level courses, for the doctoral level courses, we do have the subject matter experts set up and aligned to develop those courses and to provide those courses. And yes, I do understand the concerns, and that's clear. But I do think that we do have enough with what's been articulated to operate for 1 year, and that will also be brought back to the commission. And it does address the staff's concerns that they've articulated in the report. Yes.
So let me ask this a different way. You've seen the staff recommendation that we've been provided, right? You've read the.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what was your plan should the motion carry to accept staff recommendations? Because that sounds like what perhaps should have happened prior, because if you had to provide and show liquidity for, let's call it a day's cash on hand, right? Just to be able to say, what was your plan there? Are there resources available to you?
Yes. The plan is to continue moving forward. We've identified the state.
I mean more specifically than that. If we took a motion for the staff recommendations, denied this license, you would have to show that you have more financial resources to actually execute this. What was your plan to show that?
To get another financial report, which would show more resources, but also get more financial support from supporters of the institution.
Okay. And I guess, why haven't you done that already? And then we could have circumvented this conversation by showing that those resources were made available?
Because it is a labor-intensive field and profession. The amount of cash that I would need to come up with to demonstrate is in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. At the same
I think
time,
you just made our point
just be,
for us, sir. Yeah.
yes,
I
but
think,
at the same time, most of that hundreds of thousands of dollars comes in the form of specialized labor from subject matter experts, academics within the field. That is because I've been in the field and because we have a faith-based mission, people have been willing to assist us in getting started. And most of that is the development of the courses and teaching the first set of courses. That in and of itself, it is the chicken or the egg, right? It's like, okay, you have cash, but what are you using that cash for? And it is the subject matter expertise. And we've been blessed to have that. And our real goal is to train competent public, nonprofit, and faith-based administrators to be able to serve, to be of service to the community. And people rally around that mission. And because of that, that's why we're confident that we can move forward.
Hey, I mean, it's admirable. Let's make a more quantifiable question, because the fiscal year end that I'm looking at was from August of 23, which is a stale date to say the least. But how much working capital do you have available to you right now?
15,000.
So that number hasn't changed since then?
No.
So you've not spent any money in the past year and a half. It's just been the same amount that was there.
Oh, no. We spent quite a bit setting up our website behind the scenes, our building of courses, our subject matter experts, our the systems behind.
So where did those dollars come from that you spent? Because we're seeing the exact same amount of money. So the money has to be coming from somewhere. And I think that's the director and staff recommendation's point, is we don't see how the money is going to flow into a successful matriculation. So where did that money come from?
For the most part, it's come from me, my supporters, my retirement fund, things of that nature.
And I applaud you on going all in. I've been there before. I believe you. I'm just wanting to make sure we can put real numbers to what is trailing data for us and accurate, up-to-date, year-to-date numbers for you.
Yeah, we've been in the system for quite some time. That's why the dates. That's why you see the issues with the dates.
Right. Commissioners, do you have any discussion or questions here?
I mean, my concern, or the concern of the commission, I think if Mr. Malcolm, you're the 100% owner.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, are they up? Do you have any updated personal financial statements? Because looking through all the financial data, I kind of agree with Chairman Trey's concerns that, at least we don't have any documents here that state that you're going to get all this free voluntary work to continue to move forward. We could only assess based on the information that's given to us, and the concern here is financially that you will not be able to operate just based on what's in front of us. Unless again there's again I applaud your efforts and your sincerity, and maybe you do have a lot of those skills that are going to be provided to you on a pro bono basis, but I don't see it here, because this is a for-profit entity. It's not. I don't see any grants or potential, like if you're not for profit that somebody makes a donation to you, like there's nothing here that documents it. I guess that would just be my concern.
We have a nonprofit in the state of Florida. It's called St. Loyola Institute Mission. Now, it took some time for that to get approved by the IRS, maybe like a year. So we set up the private business first while we were going through the time to set up the nonprofit. Now, at some point, very soon, the goal is to take this private business and place it into and transition it to the nonprofit. So we have that set up, but it was just that we could set up the business first, and it took some time to set up the nonprofit.
Okay,
but while we're going through this process, it wasn't. We couldn't take the private business and then place it into the nonprofit. But that's what we plan on doing.
You're saying you would ask for a substantive change for the licensure and the operations to be moved from the for-profit entity into your 501c3?
Yes, that's what we're going to do. Yes.
And at some point in the future is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. And
near future, yes.
Okay. Is that other entity a subsidiary or a parent company of this entity in some way?
No, it will be the parent company.
I'm sorry, say that again?
It will be the parent company or nonprofit.
I have a question, Chair.
I submitted that. Yes, I submitted that to CIE staff.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I had a question, more of a clarification. I'm reading over the information. It says that they are ceasing operations as a religious institution and then are seeking a provisional license as basically a for-profit institution. So
yeah, we initially obtained approval to operate as a religious institution, maybe 1.5, almost 2 years ago. With that being said, our goal was to offer and with that we could offer the Master of Faith-Based Administration. We are seeking the provisional license to offer the Master of Public Administration, along with our EDD and our bachelor's. So yes, we do have the ability to operate as a religious institution, but you cannot have both at the same time. So that's why the statement is there to stop the religious operation.
And is that public administration? Is this public administration master's secular in nature? And that's
yes, the public administration. Yes.
Okay.
Chair Williams, if I may. So just to offer a clarification, the distinction really is not between a religious institution or a secular institution, but whether you're a religious institution that is exempt from this commission's jurisdiction versus a religious institution that is under this commission's jurisdiction. So a religious institution can offer a program that could even be faith-inspired, but has a purely secular degree title. But in that case, it has to be subject to this commission's jurisdiction.
Yep, that's precisely, Councilor, why I was asking that, because if the nonprofit that you plan to move these programs underneath in the future obviously is mission and perhaps faith-based, then a public administration master's that is secular does not qualify.
It conceivably could.
Am I wrong about that, Councilor?
Sure. An institution can have a religious name and can offer a degree program with a secular title. There are many licensees which do just that. What an institution cannot do is be a religious institution outside of this commission's jurisdiction and at the same time offer degree or other programs that don't have a religious modifier.
Right, and what I'm saying is if they, and this is purely conjecture, but let's stop ourselves from having challenges in the future, is if they come forward with a substantive change to move from this for-profit entity into that nonprofit entity, it would still need to be within the bounds of this commission, not outside, in order to maintain a a secular program.
That's correct.
Right? Okay.
That's correct.
I'm just making sure we're all on the same page, and we don't, a year from now, when they come forward with that, say, "Oh well, we could have fixed this then." So I'm of the opinion, Doctor, that it would be helpful to everyone here if the efforts that you plan to make, should we ask for a motion to accept staff recommendations, be made. It would have been nice for them to be made before we were in here, and I said, how much cash are you on hand? And you said, well, we've rallied the troops and we have $50,000 in the bank now. That would have been amazing. But it sounds like resources are being provided that we don't have any way of knowing from where those are come from. I feel like the amount of cash that you have there is not sustainable for the programs you're trying to put up and prop up, but particularly since the curriculum is yet to be created and you're talking about enrollments on May 1st, just a few weeks from now. I'm open, commissioners, to the idea that we may push this to the May in-person meeting and give the good doctor the opportunity to be able to substantiate the channels that those resources are flowing from. Because he said they have clearly spent money in the past year and a half, yet they're sitting on the same amount of cash, and we don't have any way of knowing where those are coming from and if it is sustainable for the 20 limit that he proposes or even beyond. Director, do you have thoughts on this, or commissioners?
If that is the commissioners, if they would like to give this institution an opportunity to move to the May meeting, then yes, I would recommend the commissioners deferring this decision and ordering the institution to appear at the May meeting, and they can provide additional information in the interim.
I would also add that in order to avoid a situation of a default granting of a license, that this commission issue a licensure delay of 90 days and order the institution to appear back before the commission at the in-person May 29th meeting.
I mean, if we make a motion for staff recommendations to deny this licensure, how does what we're proposing now functionally different? I mean, would he go back and substantiate the claims of those resources and bring them back to us anyway, so we're kind of doing the same thing, or would he have to begin the process over again? And Director, that's more of a staff for you, a question for you and council.
If this commission were to deny the application, and assuming that stuck, then of course there would be nothing preventing the applicant from reapplying for a license and appearing back at a future date after completing the application and paying all applicable fees.
Right. So functionally, it's the same thing to have a little respite here to be able to substantiate what we're talking about.
Well, certainly, if the commission were to deny the application, they wouldn't necessarily be back before the commission in May.
Right. And thank you, Councilor. That would certainly give us an expedited opportunity to reassess. I think the question for Dr. Oliver is that enough time to substantiate sort of the channels where all of this is going to flow from in a way, and if so, are you capable of executing it in a way that we can assess more quantitative? What are your thoughts on that, Dr. Oliver?
Yes, I would be grateful for the opportunity and I will be able to demonstrate what has been articulated that the commission needs to move forward.
You understand. I want to make sure you understand our concern and can appreciate our need to just trust but verify. Is that okay?
No, I completely understand. As I've said, I've been in this process for quite some time. I've watched the commission hearings. Also, I respect each person on this commission. I see your backgrounds. I know that you are in the thick of it, but I also know that many of you have are very innovative and creative, but also the core of your mission is education and serving others. And I respect that. So I understand completely.
Thank you. At the core of this, we want you to be successful.
Recording in progress.
To be successful, right?
Yes, I know.
Yes, absolutely.
Mr. Chair, can I add one comment here? I know it sounds like we're leaning towards a certain direction. I just want to make a recommendation to Dr. Oliver to consider. I think the chairman made a great point in saying, capping students isn't necessarily kind of works against you because you could grow revenue by not capping. But I would say to you to think about maybe you offer one program and not 4 programs, because that's where you're going to lose the efficiencies when you're running small programs and different faculty members. I know Straight Line supports your BS program, but it's something to consider because I think it makes it much more palatable, especially when you have lower capital to start with. So something to consider when you come back to us.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's a great point, Commissioner Cross. Is if one or perhaps 2 of these is where you would be garnering the most interest, it eliminates it cuts 50% of the operational overhead by going the 80-20 rule, focusing on where you have the highest demand and perhaps adding programs at a later date, which the 12 months during this time period goes by in the blink of an eye for provisional licensure. A lot of people say, well, I don't want to be limited in the ability to add programs. Well, what it really does is give you the opportunity to prove yourself with the highest demand programs and without getting out over your skis a little. It's a good recommendation and one I would suggest you consider between now, if indeed the commission decides we're okay to kick this to May.
Well, also, if you already have 15 down the pipeline that were supposed to start May 1st, if some documentation could be provided, hopefully those 15s are like what Commissioner Cross recommended are in either 1 or 2 programs. And if that data could be provided, I think it would be the commission would feel a lot more secure and granting approval on the next round. If we know that those 15 are already committed to 1 or 2 programs that you're ready to offer.
Okay, yeah, there's a balance. What I'll do is I cannot advertise, so I've been using internal networks. So I can do that.
Yeah. I was going to ask that question earlier about how you got the 15. I'm glad to know that you're not advertising. Thank you for staying compliant on that. No. It sounds like we're really close, but we're not quite there. And if anyone is opposed to the idea that we may move this to the May meeting in person, it sounds like it's going to be a good conversation, and it gives Dr. Oliver the chance to come forward, substantiate the resources, perhaps narrow his program offering, sharpen his pencil a little here. It's probably a good metaphor for this. And in the interim, provide that information to the director and staff for their assessment. And unless the director or council is opposed to this idea, I'm okay with that recommendation. I would like to note this, Dr. Oliver. Come May, we really need to see that in a quantitative fashion. We got to really get numbers. Otherwise, I think we probably will end up denying that because we gave you this opportunity and then came up short there. So I want you to have some expectations of the work that's in front of you and the consequences of the shortfall.
I completely understand, and I thank you for the opportunity.
So, Chair Williams, if I may. So, first I want to announce for the record that our new Vice Chair, Dr. Stefano, has joined us, has joined the meeting. Congratulations, Dr. Stefano.
You were voluntold, Dr. Stefano. I don't know if you weren't in the room when it happened.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
By the way, you're now vice chair, Dr. Stefano.
Okay.
Okay, and then second, so we're clear. It sounds like to me, Chair Williams, that the motion is going to be for this commission to issue a licensure delay of 90 days, and to order the applicant to appear before this commission in person at the meeting on May 29th. Is it May 29th? Make sure I got that date right. Yes, it is May 29th. I would also advise the applicant of two things: that the application is going to have to be modified and rectified, I would say no later than May 5th, in order for this commission staff to adequately review it. And secondly, according to the testimony we just heard throughout the course of this discussion, it seems to me that an additional grounds for a denial would be the failure to meet the requirements of Standard 4 of our rules, namely Rule 6E 2.004 of the Florida Administrative Code. Before an institution is licensed to operate, they have to have a curriculum already developed for its programs. That's kind of a sine qua non of operating an independent post-secondary educational institution. So that Standard 4 deficiency would need to be satisfied before the May 29th meeting, before this institution could grant the institution a license.
Okay. And I can walk that through with staff prior to the meeting, right, for confirmation?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Then it sounds like we have all joined hands on this. So then do I have a motion to delay provisional licensure as noted by council with the express contingencies?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Dr. Oliver, we will see you at the end of May, sir, and we're looking forward to all your good work.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate it.
Okay, we are on to Section C, application for annual license. There are 7 in this section. We will take these individually. The first is Aleph University Sunrise, number 12808. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand and introduce yourself.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Dr. Jorge Milan, President of Aleph University.
Good morning. This is Dr. Jana Martirosyan, Dean of Academic Affairs, representing Aleph University.
Thank you both for being here. Are you guys aware of staff recommendations with the contingency of an on-site visit, et cetera?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Because our information is always trailing a bit, I want to make sure that visit is still outstanding.
The visit is outstanding.
Okay, so it is as noted. Commissioners, do you have any discussion? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations to grant the annual license for number 12808?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
The next item on the list is Florida Health Institute, Pembroke Pines, number 12733. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand and introduce yourself.
There is no one on the line.
Okay. Commissioners, do you have any discussion? It looks like there's a contingency for an on-site visit and et cetera for this as well. Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 12733?
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Moving on to number 3, Global Tel College of Florida, Pembroke Pines, number 12749. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand and introduce yourself.
This is Dr. Yinka Taylor, campus director at Global Tel College of Florida.
Lydia Taylor, Global Tel College of Florida.
Dr. Marty Eccles, educational consultant for Global Tel College of Florida.
Thank you all for being here. Not to come out of the gate on a negative this early in our relationship, but I am looking at our trailing information showing a net loss of nearly a 6-digit number. I wanted to give the opportunity for you guys to address that and tell us what difference there's been between the trailing information we have in today, if any, for good or for bad.
That information is wrong. You better tell me.
That information, I think, is incorrect.
Okay.
Commissioners, the institution has provided a financial improvement plan on that information due to the college's net operating loss of $97,505 as of September 30th of 2024. That is on page 47 of your summary sheet.
So those of you who are online, are you saying that information from September of 2024 is not correct?
Oh, what I mean is that was discussed with CIE, and we came up with an improvement plan which was approved, just as Director Oss just indicated.
Yeah, that's what my question was, is can you tell us how things have changed between that period and now? That I understood.
Okay. So right now we're in the process of recruiting our next set of students for the LPN program. So we are expecting to have more students this time around, and with more enrollments, there will be more cash flow. And also, last year we had a lot of startup costs, which actually contributed to the loss. We will not have to engage in those kind of expenses this year. And so things are looking up, and we expect to be able to leverage on that momentum so that our financial situation will continue to improve going forward.
Can you tell me about those startup costs? What were they and how much were they?
We had to do a lot of build-out, and there was even a contractor that ran away with our money. So it was a lot of unexpected expenses, but we don't expect that to recur. Those are not recurring situations. So we do expect that our cash flow will improve with more income being generated and with more student enrollment. I think stability for an institution generates confidence. So we expect that more students will, look our way, and they're already looking our way based on the program that we are running now. And so we expect that more people will come into our programs. Now the RN to BSN and the MSN-ET programs have not really come. We've not been able to enroll students to those particular programs because we are not accredited yet. But we will continue to push, and if we are able to enroll students to those programs, that will also improve our financial situation.
So not to split hairs on it, and correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioner Caballero, but the leasehold improvements would not have contributed to their net operating loss of last year because those would have been on the balance sheet, not the P&L, right?
Correct. Yeah. Maybe it was a strain on cash flow.
Yeah. So, sir, it's not necessarily material to that. I just wanted to point out that certainly affected your cash flow, but it wasn't a contributor to that $97,000 loss. Those are CapEx expenses, not expenses. So I understand how it may have undermined your efficiency though during that period, and everything is easier when you're not in startup mode. I understand that. That satisfies me. Commissioners, do you have any additional discussion? Sir, do you have any additional questions or comments?
No.
Outstanding. Well, we look forward to hearing the results of your on-site visit contingency, and I'm going to ask for a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 12749.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion is granted. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next is Mackenzie University, Hollandale Beach, number 12514. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand and unmute yourself and introduce yourself.
Good morning. Good morning, commissioners. Osby Curiel, President of Mackenzie University.
Dr. Juan Tapia, Vice President.
Claudio De La Parra, Director of Student Services and Career Services.
Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate your time.
Likewise.
Are you guys aware of the staff recommendation with what looks like a single contingency?
Yes, sir.
Perhaps as that, I'm showing an updated catalog for correcting corporation institution, not necessarily a site visit. Are you aware of that contingency?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's
Sorry.
clear, yes, sir.
No, I appreciate that. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
That one is a 90-day. Are you comfortable with that timeline of meeting that contingency?
Of meeting the contingency? Yeah. Yeah, that's fine, sir. Yeah. It's already been sent out too.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for that. Commissioners, any discussion?
Yeah, thank you. I have a question in regards to, it looks like you have 14 students enrolled in quite a few programs, no graduates yet. Where is the strength of your programs from an enrollment standpoint with 8 different programs, 14 students, and when is your first graduation?
Yeah, we're definitely in path. Obviously, we did start on January 7th, so we are enrolled with our students and heading in a good pace. As far as the completion of first graduate is, I don't have a graduation as of yet. Pero ¿cuál es la fecha that I'm trying to just find here? Apologize, our first student that's graduating. I have to look at the in December is our first graduate. I apologize, of this year.
And the 14 students, do you have all 8 of these programs with students, or are some of these idle at this point?
No, all program has a student. All program are active.
All active, yes.
2 students. Okay.
We currently have 27 students actually as the new update.
Got it. Thank you.
And growing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any additional discussion? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 12514?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is adopted. Thank you for being here today, guys. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you, commissioners.
Next on the agenda is Mount Scopus University Boca Raton, number 12638. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
Commissioners and staff, Dr. Jose Otero, Otero Consulting Group. I'm here with the president of the university, Mr. Tellez. Good morning, commissioners.
Thanks for being here to you both. You guys aware of the outstanding contingency on the staff recommendations of an on-site visit?
Yes, we are.
Outstanding. And I don't know if it's scheduled already, but obviously it is to be completed in the next 90 days.
Correct, but it hasn't been scheduled yet.
All right. Commissioners, any discussion? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 12638?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Congratulations, gentlemen. Thank you for being here. The last item in this section is South College Tampa Skills Lab, number 12868. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and
Commissioner
introduce.
Williams, it appears
Yep.
that we skipped number 6, Nursing Network Christian School.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, it's because it has a long one and I moved to the wrong page. That was my fault. Thank you for that, Director. So, to the Director's point, it should be Nursing Network Christian School, Lauderhill, number 9075. Please don't take me skipping you personally. That was unintended. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
There was no one on the line.
That's unfortunate because I had a lot of questions here.
So, if I may, I'd like to pose a question to legal counsel and to the executive director about the options at the table at this point for gathering more information, validating the tentative clinical affiliation agreements, and having the school provide answers regarding the respective distances of those affiliations in relation to the location of the students that they serve.
So I'm going to hand the floor over to the executive director for a moment, just so we get on the record the outstanding concerns that the executive director has concerning this institution, so there can be adequate discussion among you commissioners as to those concerns. And then I have a couple of ideas of where we could move from there.
Thank you.
So the commission staff had a couple of concerns related to the application that was submitted to the commission for their annual license from the Nursing Network Christian Schools. Those included concerns with their clinical agreements. One concern we had was for their clinical agreement distance for those that are in Florida from their campus. We also noted that the matrix that was provided to the commission included Louisiana clinical agreements. And the school has indicated that those Louisiana agreements are no longer used, but we would like some more information related to the use of those Louisiana agreements over the last couple of years. The main agreement for clinicals is in Pensacola, which is over 600 miles from the school's current location. We also have that this institution is leasing their facility from another CIE school, which is Ruby's Academy for Healthcare Operations. It appears that the school has moved from the location that we have on file without proper application to CIE. We also would like to request, or we have requested as a contingency, a audit from 2024. We also have a couple of complaints on file that appear to be related or crossed with another school that's located in Louisiana. There was indicators that a student was enrolling in both schools, but the Louisiana school was not approved for nursing and their sites were not approved for, and the Florida site is not approved for online distance learning.
600 miles is quite the commute. Counselor, I would love to hear your suggestions because I feel like there have to be alternatives. I would love to hear your thoughts.
Sure. Well, we certainly want to give the applicant an opportunity to be heard over these concerns. If this commission is not inclined to grant the license at this time, it might be most prudent for the commission to issue a licensure delay of up to 90 days and to order the applicant to appear before this commission at the May 29th meeting to address all of these outstanding concerns. And the clerked order will list which concerns the commission would like to discuss with the applicant at that meeting, and also encourage the applicant to have some conversations with commission staff in the interim on those matters.
Yeah, I like that idea much more, commissioners. Do you have thoughts on this?
I'm also inclined to that idea. One question that I have is whether it would be possible to receive a written explanation leading up to the commission meeting that we could perhaps review in anticipation of it, as opposed to conducting that exchange on the floor. I don't know if that's feasible or possible. I'd like your guidance on that.
Absolutely. So what about an additional order that the institution submit a written explanation on or before May 5th of 2025?
Yeah, and Counselor, I would want to include the relocation, the distance, the licensing at the clinicals within those distance. I don't know that those are all captured within the contingencies because it's about 3/4 of a page. They may be, but if not, certainly I think we would want to include them.
Absolutely.
Perhaps I could articulate the points that we would like specific accounting of. Would that be okay?
Yes, sir. Bring it on, Vice Chair.
All right. So I think you captured the first 2 or 3, and I would say there's probably 4, right? So one would be an explanation of the distances of the clinical affiliation agreements with respect to the location of the students that they serve. First question, or first point of inquiry. The second would be if they could provide an updated list of their clinical affiliation agreements and the status of those agreements, ensuring that they are in fact valid and current, and whether or not they are in use. Third, I think it would be good to have an explanation regarding their current location and why we weren't notified properly of the change in locations. And fourth, an explanation of how the Louisiana-based clinical affiliation agreements relate to their program and whether, in fact, any of those agreements had been used. Commissioners, does that seem to capture the range of inquiries.
Yeah, certainly. In addition to those existing contingencies and the others. I would like to ask a question here. One of the contingencies, the staff recommendation is asking for a financial audit. Is that to be an audit or is that to be a review?
So since this is a degree school, if they are making over $100,000 in tuition revenue each year, they'll need to provide an audit.
So if it were tomorrow, it may be different. Understood.
Yeah, I guess that's the other question that I had, is their financial statements versus their, I'm sorry, I don't know the form number. There's a discrepancy between the tuition that's on that form 504 versus the audit. So are they operating completely in Louisiana? You know, like it's only a couple of students in Florida and the rest are in Louisiana? Are they licensed in, I mean, I don't know if there's an issue there. Like if, are they operating here or are they operating in Louisiana, or they're online that they could operate simultaneously in both? Because if you look at that form 604, the tuition in Florida is less than 100,000. But then if you look at the audited financial statements, it exceeds the 100,000.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure, you know, the difference in revenue where they're operating, I guess.
Yeah, and it's sort of intermingled with this whole clinical discussion as well, right? We don't really have clarity here operationally, financially, or otherwise. Okay.
Just for the record, it's important to state that they're not approved by this commission for online delivery.
Okay,
and so perhaps that should be a point of inquiry, because that was initially my thought as well, that the only plausible explanation I can conceive of for some of these things is an online modality of delivery, in which case the clinical affiliations are being designed in a distributed kind of structure to correspond to the primary locations of their online constituents, right? However, since they're not approved for online delivery, then that kind of strains the range of possible explanations. I wonder if we shouldn't add an additional inquiry for their May 5th explanations about the modality of their educational delivery, and ensuring that those are all, you know, in person in accordance with their current licensure approval.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Commissioner. Okay, well, they continue to stack up. It would have been nice to have someone here to have this discussion. Then, since the rest of this discussion is on record, I suppose if there's no additional, I would ask for a motion to delay the annual licensure rather than grant, with the contingencies as noted by both commissioners and council and staff.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I look forward to seeing what looks like to be a 3-page clerked order for May then. Thank you for everyone's contribution to that. That motion carries. All right, now the last item would be South College Tampa Skills Lab, number 12868. And if you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is James McCoy. I'm the campus president of South College Orlando, and with its Tampa Skills Lab.
Thank you for being here, Mr. McCoy. You sound like me. Where are you from?
I grew up in South Carolina.
Okay. Well, I grew up in South Georgia, so that's probably why.
Well, I understand. I was actually born in Macon, Georgia.
Well, I like you more already.
Well, But I can't say I'm a Georgia Bulldog fan, though.
Okay, then sorry, your application is denied.
I figured I knew I knew I was going down the wrong path when I said that. So.
No, I graduated Georgia in '95 a long time ago, but thank you for that. So you and I can both try to resist the urge to sound more Southern while we talk to each other, which is what happens when I'm on the phone with my family, for the benefit of the commission and everyone listening. But are you aware of the looks like a single contingency related to? Go ahead.
I am aware of the site visit contingency. In fact, the site visit was delayed by CIE earlier or late last year, earlier this year, because this is a lab site and not a full campus. We did not have any students there. But as I expressed to the commission, I can set up a tour with their site visitor. So I am aware of that contingency. We will make sure that we comply with whatever the commission needs.
Outstanding. And you're comfortable doing that within the 90 days that we have outlined in this recommendation?
Yes, sir. I will reach out to the planned site visitor and see if we can get a tour scheduled. The site itself has got May 8th available for us. So yes, I feel comfortable we can get that accomplished within the 90 days.
Outstanding. Commissioners, do you have additional questions or discussion with Mr. McCoy? All right, hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 12868?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you for being here, sir. We appreciate your patience.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You as well. Okay, it is no items in section D, and I would like to move to section E before we take a short break because I think we can navigate that pretty quickly. Director, are you okay with that?
Yes.
Our next section with items to be discussed are applications for annual renewal. There are 21 of these items. I would like a motion to accept these items by consent. Do I hear one?
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. I'll now request, I need a pen. If you have any you would like to pull and discuss, the director has noted numbers 4 and 20. Commissioner Taylor Ellis, do you have any additional?
No, I do not.
Commissioner Stefano?
None additional.
Commissioner Cross?
No, none additional.
Commissioner Caballero?
No addition.
Commissioner Batista?
No additions.
Okay, then Director, do you have any beyond the 4 and 20 as noted?
I do not have any additional to pull, but I do need to make a clerical change to number 3. And I don't need to pull them, but for number 3 is Blackwell Global University Orlando. That is number 12499. It has a typographical error in it. Currently, it says grant the annual license, which shall remain active and valid through May 31st, 2026. And then order the institution to make timely and sufficient application for renewal of the license by submitting a complete application, materials, and fees, or an extension thereof no later than 120 days prior to May 31st, 2026. In both of those cases, it should reflect March 31st, 2026 to align with this meeting.
Noted. Thank you for that. Okay, then do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations on items 1 through 3, 5 through 19, and 21 in section E?
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Let's move to number 4, Caps Care Academy for Healthcare Education, Lake Worth, number 2277. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
There is no one on the line.
That is unfortunate. Commissioners, there's a lot to unpack here, but with no one on the line, I don't know how much of a discussion we're going to be able to have. Unless any of you would like to discuss it internally at length, I'm willing to ask for a motion to accept the staff recommendations on the litany of issues that we had here, and deny that licensure and conduct an orderly closure.
I agree.
All right, then do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 2277?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The denial and orderly closure is forthcoming with that motion carrying. That would move us to number 20. That would be number 9036. And I think we pulled this one for the purpose of Commissioner Taylor Ellis's need to recuse on her vote for this. That would be the only reason, I think, that it was outside of consent. Director, did I get that right?
That is correct. Commissioner Sharon Taylor Ellis needs to abstain from voting on her affiliated institution.
Outstanding. Commissioners, do you have any discussion on number 20, number 9036?
And Commissioner, I do believe we have a representative from the institution on the line.
Oh, outstanding. I'm sorry, I didn't ask for that, did I? Okay, then apologies. You've obviously raised your digital hand and unmuted, and look forward to you introducing yourself. I didn't mean to jump too quickly. I was just thinking about Sharon. Who's on the line?
Rob Paganini, campus president from Miramar.
Thank you for being here, sir. How are you today?
I am well, thank you.
First time in front of CIE. Welcome, Rob.
Thank you.
Did you come in just so you could say that you'd never met, that you finally made while Sharon was still here? Otherwise, you may have never heard the end of it, right?
Getting in under the wire.
Hey, that's still under the wire, though. Good job with that. I don't see any contingencies here, and I'm assuming, sir, that you're aware of the staff recommendation to grant that annual license.
Yes, sir.
Outstanding. Do you have questions or comments for us before I ask for a motion?
No, sir.
All right, commissioners.
You didn't comment on his southern accent, did you?
You know, I felt like it might get old hat if I do it again.
We appreciate you lending us Commissioner Taylor Ellis. She's been an incredible contributor to this commission, so thank you.
Yeah, well said. It's been really nice to share her expertise and insight with UTI for this past few years.
And Rob is a newer campus president at Miramar, very experienced within the industry, new to UTI and new to Miramar. And we're in good hands. CIE is in good hands. UTI is in good hands with Rob leading that campus.
We look forward to working with you, sir. Commissioners, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 9036?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Sir, thank you for being here. We appreciate you.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
So I believe, if I got that correct, that would move us to section F, which there are none. And before we move to section G, Director, if I have that correct, perhaps we take a 10-minute break to give everybody the opportunity to recharge for a moment. Are you okay with that?
We would appreciate a break.
I bet. Okay, then we'll mute ourselves and see you guys in let's call it 11:15. Thank you. All right. I am watching the screen at the top right, assuming that that's what's still showing. There we are.
Chair Williams, we are back from break.
All right. Well, thanks for everyone's patience. It was the opportunity to recharge a little bit. We left off with Section G, annual review of license by means of accreditation, and there are 9 items in this section. Do I have a motion to take these items by consent?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. The director has indicated number 6 to be pulled. We'll go around and ask if you guys have any additional. Commissioner Batista, do you have any additional?
No additions.
Commissioner Caballero?
No additions.
Commissioner Taylor Ellis?
Nothing else. Thank you.
Commissioner Stefano?
No additional.
And Commissioner Cross?
None.
All right. Then do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for items 1 through 5 and 7 through 9 of Section G?
I move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Let's move to number 6. Number 6 would be NRI Institute of Health Sciences, Royal Palm Beach, number 1768. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
There is no one on the line.
That is unfortunate. All right. Director, I know you pulled this. I will give you the opportunity to open the floor here for discussion.
So the reason that we pulled this institution was to have a discussion with them regarding their passage rates for their nursing AS program. This institution is not on probation with the Florida Board of Nursing, but they did report a 2024 calendar year passage rate of 33.33%. One of staff's recommendations for the contingencies is a submission of a remediation plan for their nursing AS program. So that is contained in your current language on your summary sheets. But the pooling was just to have the institution provide a little bit of insight into those programs. Oh, I do believe there is an individual on the line.
Great.
Mr. Chairman, Executive Director, I apologize. This is Bob Harris, and I walked back in a couple of minutes later. Is the one you pulled number 6?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I apologize. Yeah, NRI Institute of Health Sciences, Royal Palm Beach, number 1768 is my client. Actually, owners are up in out of state. It's something they could not avoid, so they asked me to attend on their behalf. But I did hear the comment from the executive director. So if you would please clarify, Ms. Hirsch, what exactly do you need the institution to do?
Sure. So we were going to have the institution just speak to their current passage rate or the 2024 passage rate, how they're doing currently with their 2024 rates, since those haven't come out yet for, the first quarter of 2025, and kind of their improvements, how they plan to improve this program, what are their intentions with the program, and give us some additional information.
That's fine. I will make sure that they actually submit something in writing to you all. If you could give us maybe 10 days, if that's okay, and we'll make sure we have something very specific. My understanding is for 2025, they won't come out until middle of April, but they're doing better. But I certainly understand your interest in finding out how well they're doing, if they're doing any better, and what they're doing to change from 2024. So we'll get that to you, if possible, within 10 days.
Thank you, Mr. Harris.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Counselor, if they're not on probation, and I'm assuming they're not at this point with the Board of Nursing, they likely will be once that quarterly review comes through, right?
Well, not necessarily. The only time that the Florida Board of Nursing makes a decision on whether someone goes on probation is at their February meeting, where they look at the 2024 scores And if they're 2 years in a row below the 10%, that's when they're automatically by law placed on probation. So it depends on their scores not only for 2024 but 2023 as well.
I was unaware of that. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, Counselor. So did I hear you correctly? The Board of Nursing only reviews these one time a year in February for the previous calendar year?
That is correct. In other words, they look at, they do it on calendar year, and it comes out on January 17th or January 20th of every year, for the whole state, for every school. And so, but you have to be on probation for 2 years in a row. Now, I'm looking at it now, and it shows for 2023, no testers in first, second, third quarter, and a 0 for the fourth quarter. I don't know whether that meant they have testers in the fourth quarter, and one or more of those testers failed, and that's what produced a 0. I don't know that. And then 2024, it is the third quarter was 33.33. It shows here they had no testers for fourth quarter, and it was 42.86 cumulative score for the year, which is again well. So if in fact there were there were testers in the fourth quarter of 2023, and so it is a 0 for 2023, Ms. Hurst is correct. They should have been placed on probation at the February meeting. But let me tell you this too. I had a communication with the Board of Nursing about this just a day ago. We have found that sometimes the website for the Board of Nursing may show one thing, for example, a school not having any testers, when in fact, if you look at the individual results that are also produced, it's 280 pages. But if you look at each one individually, sometimes you do see testers, and it doesn't show up on this. So one of my questions to the Board of Nursing was, how accurate is this information on their website? How up to date? And so I'm going to, because of this situation, I'm going to find out about that fourth quarter in 2023, because if it in fact was 0, that students failed and they had 0, then they would have had a 0 in 2023. And with it being below the average in 2024, they should have been placed on probation. There has to be an explanation of this, because the Board of Nursing is so on top of it, they rarely miss any of these kinds of things.
Thank you for all of that. I really appreciate it. I'm learning this. I know the other commissioners are much more familiar with these programs than I am. And there are 4 contingencies on staff recommendation. Counselor, you comfortable with those as they are, and then conveying to the owners operators the need for urgency, because it appears there's a 90-day window on those?
Absolutely. We have talked about them. We did see that the summary sheet staff was good to provide the summary sheets. So we are familiar with those, and we have no issue with those whatsoever.
Okay, outstanding. Commissioners, you have any discussion?
Yeah, Chair, I have just a comment. I don't know, and the numbers are very, very similar, so it doesn't really make a material difference, but it's really odd that this school is listed twice in the NCSBN reports in the Florida Board of Nursing, so with 2 different codes, but same program and very similar pass rates. So they're not like a duplicate of each other. So I'm not sure why there's 2 different codes, and I don't know if Director may know that. Same location, same program, same name of school. You know, they're on the one we keep referencing, it's 4 of 12 pass, 33%. On the other one, it shows 5 of 13. So I don't know if that's in addition to, or I just don't understand why there's a different code on this one.
Commissioner Frost, can you tell me the codes that you're looking at, please?
Yeah, the one we keep referencing is US 704-18800, and the other one is US 704-10500.
Commissioner Cross, this is Mr. Harris. I can tell you that they did have a program, I believe, that was closed, and sometimes even if students take the NCLEX anywhere from 6 months to, I've seen them this year so far back as 2011. taking the test. It will show up on the NCSBN report, but according to the Board of Nursing, looking at their information, there's only one program, and that is the 704188. That is an active program for NRI Institute.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Cross, that is correct. That the program ending the 4105 was out of the Royal Palm Beach location, and it is closed. The 04188 is currently approved.
And that's at Royal Palm Beach also. So it's the same location.
Yeah, I was about to ask that because
it's the approved program. It is listed as under a different city on the Board of Nursing's website, but it is the one from the Royal Palm Beach.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's a different location, or the school shut down the program before, or was that a different location that shut down the ASN program?
It was the same location, same school, they just closed the program, and it shows up. It should be the very same address, the very same school. Nothing has changed.
But reopened with a new curriculum, new program?
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you.
And,
Yes, sir.
and Councilor, that all may have predated the current commission and director, and so that's why that we're not familiar with that. I mean, I don't know if you know how long ago that was, or how long they were closed. It's just a question.
Yeah, it was prior to any of you on the commission, prior to any of the staff, leadership of the staff coming into play. And so I did work with the institution back when that program was closed, worked there and made sure they did the proper closure on that. But it was several years ago. But again, that's the difficulty. It was reported by the Florida Center for Nursing a month ago that in terms of closed schools, what they call special codes, with all the test scores, Florida has 85% of all the special code reported by NCSBN. And again, what that generally is are schools that have closed, again, many times years ago, and students still coming and sitting for that test. And so it's reported by NCSBN based upon code. Also, as you all know, after 3 years, the Board of Nursing gives everyone kind of a closed school code, which is the same code, and sometimes students take the test under that, and they're not directly connected with the school that they graduated from. But again, it doesn't matter when they take the test, 15 years later, it'll come back in some way to that school code. So it's just hard to manage.
The circular logic around CIE and Board of Nursing never ceases to amaze me. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Bob.
Well, I would love to solve that problem. If the Florida legislature would listen to me, we might be able to solve that problem. But so far, no luck.
Yeah, well, thank you for helping us understand that. I feel better about understanding where that is, and the existing contingencies satisfy my curiosity. Commissioners, do you have anything additional? Then hearing nothing, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 1768?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you for being here, sir. Appreciate you standing in for them while they travel.
No problem. Thanks, everyone, very much.
This moves us along. Make sure I'm in the right spot. To Section H, applications for program approval modifications. There are 6 items in this section. Do I have a motion to accept these items by consent?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. The director has noted number 3 to be pulled from items 1 through 6. Ask you guys if you guys have any additional. Commissioner Caballero?
None.
Commissioner Batista?
None.
Commissioner Taylor Ellis?
No more. Thank you.
Commissioner Cross?
None.
And Commissioner Stefano?
None additional.
Awesome. Then do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for items 1, 2, and 4, 5, and 6 of section H?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries, and we can move to number 3.
If I may, just a quick comment, just to give a celebratory kudos to Schiller International on their new BA program, an area of growing need and interest. So just wanted to put that out there. Please continue.
Definitely. Thank you for that. Yeah, I see what you mean. So within number 3, Jose Maria Vargas University, Pembroke Pines, number 2788. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself. Is there anyone on the line?
Hey, how are you? My name is Fernando Ortiz. I'm the COO, and I work in the instructional design department as well. I'm here representing Jose Maria Vargas University.
Thank you for being here today. I'm sure you and Commissioner Stefano would have a lot to talk about with instructional design. And sir, are you aware of the staff recommendations and the associated contingencies that the school has for this current agenda item?
Yes, and we're willing to accept the staff recommendations.
Okay, so I do want to ask you some. Well, let me open the floor to those who are better about these clinical discussions than I first, particularly around the veterinary assisting and veterinary technology programs. Commissioners, do you have probably better questions than I do about this, gentlemen?
Perhaps before we jump into the questions, just to clarify the point at issue here is the modality of the education for the proposed programs. So you have these programs that are proposed, and I suppose one of the questions that we should discuss is what are the lab or experiential learning components required, if any, for the sterile processing technician?
So right now we're going to implement practicals that they would have to come in at the end of the program for at least a week. And we'll have materials here where they will do practicals. And we also have internship agreements that they will, participate in.
Okay. And how about for the veterinary assisting and veterinary technology programs?
So that would be similar. At the end of the program, they would be required to come in for a week to do the practicals. And we are working in internship agreements for the veterinary. We don't have any yet, but we are in communication with a couple of veterinary offices, and hopefully we'll have some soon.
Yeah, so it sounds like what you're intending is a hybrid program with only the theory portions online, but the practical or lab portions to be in person. And that is a kind of a distinct set of selections in the program application, as opposed to 100% online, delivery, which is what was the point of the challenge here. It seems that the current staff recommendation kind of auto-corrected, as it were, and is already kind of approving it in that direction. So it seems that the current staff recommendation is more aligned with what you're describing as the intended structure of the program.
Mm-hmm. Yes, correct. That's why I commented. We accepted the staff recommendation, and instead of 100%, online, it would be a hybrid program.
Commissioners, may I ask a question of the institution? A minute ago, I heard you speak toward your externships. Are you planning to do externships with your sterile processing technician diploma program?
Yes, we are. We already have agreements because we do have medical assistant. So we did reach out to those offices and clinics, and they're willing to accept our sterile processing.
Thank you. And I just want to, I'm clarifying that point because I do not believe the commission has yet received those clinical or the executed agreements for that program. That wasn't something that we were aware of, that they were going to be doing externships. So it would be beneficial to add a contingency to the current staff recommendation. This would go under the section where we are granting approval of their medical billing and coding diploma and their sterile processing technician diploma programs upon the following contingency being met, and add a second contingency under there of submission of executed externship agreements for the sterile processing diploma program.
Okay, perfect.
Then, Director, do the remaining contingencies below the veterinary assistant and veterinary technology remain as is?
It does. If the commission would like to provide more descriptive language for the approval of the hybrid synchronous delivery, you can add approval of the hybrid synchronous delivery for theory only.
Your thoughts on that, Dr. Stefano?
Well, I mean, so I think that we'd have to just rephrase it. So agreement of synchronous online delivery for theory only, but the overall program approval would be hybrid synchronous delivery, because the hybrid part is what denotes the practical and experiential aspects, right? So the moment you put hybrid, you can't say it's for the theory part, right? So we'd have to kind of parse that out. I don't know what is the optimal way to do that succinctly.
So the contingencies remain. It's just noting that it's a hybrid delivery, right? So we're approving that theory portion.
Yeah, that's right.
Counselor, you comfortable capturing this discussion in a revised staff recommendation?
Sure thing. And your executive director has some recommended language.
Oh, well, do tell.
I do not have the recommendation. Recommended language.
I misunderstood something. I'm sorry.
But yes, we have captured it, and we will articulate it correctly in their clerk's order that we are granting approval of a hybrid delivery, but it includes online theory courses or online delivery for theory courses only for the sterile processing technician diploma, vet assistant diploma, and vet technology AS programs upon approval of the program themselves.
Okay, perfect. No pressure. Got put on the spot right there. Okay. Then,
as long as the, excuse me, Chair, as long as the hybrid really indicates that there has to be a hands-on lab component of those programs. So I don't know if that needs to be included in the language or not. So
I think that's been made clear
for those. Yeah.
Yes, that's been made clear on the record by the preceding discussion, and the clerked order will reflect that the online delivery for these programs is approved only as to the theory portion.
Thank you.
All right. Sir, do you have any questions or comments for the discussion or the revised staff recommendations we just went through?
No comments. Everything seems good.
Outstanding. Thank you for being amenable to that. Do I have a motion to accept the revised staff recommendations as noted for the record moments ago?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thanks for your collaboration with us, sir. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, guys.
believe that moves us to section I. There are 4 items in this section. Do I have a motion to accept these items by consent?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. The director had previously noted that she had none to pull from these 4. Commissioner Taylor Ellis, do you have any you would like to pull?
I do not. Thank you.
Commissioner Cross?
None.
Commissioner Stefano?
None.
Commissioner Batista?
None.
And Commissioner Caballero?
None, thank you.
All right. Then do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for items 1 through 4 in section I, motion for extension of license?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries for section I. That moves us to section J. Motion for extension of provisional license for 1 year. There is only 1 item in this section, so we will take it individually. The School of Arts and Media Institute of Miami, Doral, number 12739. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
Hello, good morning still. My name is Herman Posada. I'm the COO for the School of the Arts and Media Institute of Miami.
Thank you for being here today, sir.
My pleasure.
Are you aware of the staff recommendations and the associated looks to be 1 contingency remaining?
Yes, sir.
And that is a 606 projected and or actual budget. Or you guys have that working in progress?
Yes, sir. It's that we just had to make a couple of corrections. They were sent. The request was sent in time. Unfortunately, I being the responsible hand for that, I don't know if you catch it. Still in my voice, I had some massive respiratory problems and I couldn't attend to it in time, but it's being tended to.
Well, your health is primary importance, and I hope you are on the mend. There is a 90-day deadline on that, and certainly we want you feeling better before you focus on anything other than your health, but are you comfortable with that 90 days?
Absolutely, sir.
Awesome. Commissioners, do you have any questions or comments, this gentleman? All right. Well, then hearing none, do I have a staff recommendation? Do I have a motion to accept staff recommendation for numbers 12739?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you for being here, sir. We hope you feel better.
I want to thank the commission for their understanding. I appreciate you guys for everything you do, and we will comply shortly.
Outstanding. Have a good day there. There are no items in section K, and section L has only 4. So do I have a motion to accept these items by consent?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. The director had previously noted number 4. Commissioner Cross, do you have any additional?
I do not believe so.
Commissioner Stefano?
None additional.
Commissioner Batista?
No additions.
Commissioner Caballero?
No addition.
And Commissioner Taylor Ellis?
Nothing else. Thank you.
All right. Then do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for items 1, 2, and 3 of section L?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries and moves us to number 4. Orlando Medical Institute, number 3264. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
There is no one on the line.
That is unfortunate.
There is a person on the line. 1 second. They just joined.
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I wanted to know if everything is done for item 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
I'm sorry, could you introduce yourself?
Oh, my name is Donald. I'm from Data Institute of Technology and Health. Okay, it looks that I did not hear what you said, earlier, so I wanted to make sure that everything is done for item 3.
Okay. So item 3 is perhaps not the only reason we have this one pulled. Director, this was yours to note. Do you want to convey your concerns?
So,
no, I don't have any concern.
Are you affiliated with number 3, which is Data Institute of Technology and Health?
Yeah, I don't have any concern. So I just, someone was making some noise here. I didn't hear the last thing that you said. That's it.
So the commissioners have approved the staff recommendations as currently written for your institution, unless you have any questions for us.
No, I don't have any question. I'm fine. Just wanted to make sure everything's fine.
Thank you, sir. You're good.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
You're welcome. So Commissioner Williams, we are now under the 4, which we pulled for Orlando Medical Institute. We do not have anyone on the line for Orlando Medical Institute.
Okay, thank you for helping clarify. I thought that he was from this institute. Outstanding. Then, we have some negative working capital and negative trajectory of financial soundness here that we don't necessarily have to discuss because we don't have someone to help us understand where they are as opposed to where they were. Commissioners, do you have any discussion before we ask for a motion? Then since there is no one on the line to address those concerns and no discussion, can I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 3264?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. We have nothing in section M, nothing in section N. We do have 58 items in section O. Make sure I get this right to begin with. Just 1 second, please. There we go. All right. Is there a motion to take these items by consent?
So
moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. The director had previously noted items 15, 19, 38, 42, and 56. Director, do you have any additional?
I do not have any additional.
All right. Dr. Stefano, I'm going to come to you last. Commissioner Caballero?
No, I did not, but I'm sorry. I think the director also said 56. Right?
Yes, 15, 19, 38, 42, and 56.
Okay, I'm sorry. I missed 56. No, none additional.
Outstanding. Commissioner Batista?
No additions.
Commissioner Taylor Ellis?
No additions. Thanks.
Commissioner Cross?
No additions.
Dr. Stefano?
None additional. I just want to commend the staff for their thorough review of not only the religious indicators or a religious term in the title, but also for their due diligence in ensuring that the courses also have a religious modifier, degree programs rather, have a religious modifier. It's a tremendous amount of work and kind of looking into each of these institutions. And so I just want to kind of give recognition and appreciation for that.
As a point of clarity, earlier we were talking about a master's in public administration that did not have a religious modifier, and for a potential mission-driven, parochial. So, is that a requirement within the program, or not? Because it sounds like conflicting with what I learned earlier.
So if you are applying for a religious exemption, you must comply with all of the Florida statute, which requires all of your actual institution itself has to have a religious modifier in its name, and each program has to have a religious modifier and be for a vocational ministry. So for the program that you heard earlier today, the reason that he is applying for licensure is because he is adding programs that are secular in nature, and he is unable to do that under a religious affidavit. Previously, he would have had a religious affidavit, but it would not have included that program.
Right. So at the point where that previous that we were talking about wanted to move their program under their mission-driven nonprofit and likely be outside of the non-religious, then that program would have to have a change to it to have a religious modifier. They couldn't just keep a master's in public administration.
So correct. So if he is moving, say he moved that entire business organization under his nonprofit, if he wanted to keep that program, he would have to license the entire institution. If he got rid of that program or modified the program to be vocational for ministry purposes and included the religious modifier in the name of the program, then he could be potentially eligible to be exempt from this commissioner's licensure process.
It's like a Rubik's Cube, but I appreciate that explanation. I really do. All right. I think I understand it better now. Let's move to then number 15, which is Florida Hebrew University Aventura.
So I can do all of them at the same time just to explain why I have requested that these be pulled from the agenda for further review. So for all of the institutions for which the numbers were called, we have concerns with a lack of a religious modifier and a program name that was demonstrated on their website or advertised on their website.
Okay, so rather than taking these 5 individually, it is the same challenge for them in each.
So you won't need to make a motion on any of them. So what you've done, so you can approve the others, but the ones that we're pooling, staff will reach out to those institutions and request explanations surrounding these program names. They will then provide information to staff, and then these may appear at a future commission meeting once those concerns have been resolved.
Okay, great. Then I think we look for a motion to approve. I'm looking at the language to make sure I get this right. It's not a staff recommendation, it's an approval. Or I suppose that's the same thing this time.
So we're clear, what the commission votes on with these exempt religious institutions is not to approve them, but simply to accept their affidavits. They have to fill out a relatively detailed affidavit saying that they meet the conditions for exemption from this commission's jurisdiction, and this is just a procedural vote to accept their affidavits.
That's what I was looking for, Counselor. So the motion I'm looking for is to accept the affidavit for items 1 through 14, 16 through 18, 20 through 37, 39 through 41, and 43 through 55 and 57 and 58.
So move.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. And I'm assuming, Counselor, that the commission doesn't need to take motions or action on the other 5. They just simply haven't been approved. So staff is waiting on revised affidavits.
That's correct. Either a revised affidavit or this commission accepts affidavits unless the affidavit is somehow facially invalid, or if the attestations on the affidavit contradict the public advertisements or other public representations made by the institutions. For example, if on their website they have program names which do not have or do not appear to have religious modifiers, well, we can't accept an affidavit if we have evidence that it's misleading or has inaccurate information. So staff will reach out to those schools and obtain whatever clarifications are necessary.
And my last question for you, since we're learning a lot here today, is can you tell me what facially invalid means?
Sure. So if the face of the affidavit, if the affidavit on appearance appears to be has something wrong with it or says something that's obviously incorrect. So, for example, one of the things a school has to attest on the affidavit is that the school name has a religious modifier. But if you see the signature or the name of the institution on the affidavit is, let's just say, Palm Beach University, okay, that's not obviously a religious affidavit. It seems to be something facially wrong with it, or let's say it's unsigned. So that would be something facially invalid on its face.
All right. I will do a better job with this section in the future now that I understand the language. That would move us through section P, which has no items, and on to number 7, which is improper school closures. There are 3 items in this section. Do I have a motion to take those 3 by consent?
So
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Director, do you have any you would like to pull from those 3?
I do not.
Commissioner Caballero?
None. Thank you.
Commissioner Batista?
None.
Commissioner Taylor Ellis?
None. Thank you.
Commissioner Cross?
None.
And Commissioner Stefano?
None, thank you.
Awesome. Then with no polls, do I have staff recommendation to, or excuse me, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations?
Chair Williams, if I may?
Yeah.
Even when there are consent items prior to a vote on them, it would be prudent to ask if there's any comment.
You are right.
Any public
comment. What I'm doing is I quit looking at the wonderful script that Tiffany, the director gave me here, and then I started ad-libbing, and you guys got to tell me not to read. So.
And we do have a public comment.
Okay, perfect. Then let's move to that public comment then, I suppose.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Director, this is Bob Harris, and I do have a question. Not having seen this on the agenda, or if I've missed it entirely, I'm just curious, because this is a very, very, very important issue right now in terms of nursing school closures, that what exactly has gone on with these 3 institutions. I'm just curious what's the process? Because I do get questions about these particular institutions all the time.
What specifically is your question, Mr. Harris?
I'm just wondering what these 3 reports are. In other words, are there reports of all the schools just not closing properly? And there's some, for example, in the statutes, as you know, Mr. Genscher, there's potential criminal penalties, there's other kinds of things, and they're not. In other words, what else is happening with just reporting improper school closures?
So we're clear, Mr. Harris. So these schools are already closed. What the commissioners are voting on is just a factual finding that the closures have been improper, have not been, that an orderly closure has not occurred. So, for example, I think in the case of all of these schools, we don't have student records, for instance. Or sometimes these schools close without notifying us. I believe you have copies of the summary sheets which pertain to these institutions, and those should indicate specific reasons why that justify the finding of improper closure in these cases.
Okay. No, and I apologize, Mr. Jones. I don't have those. I will request those formally, but I can just tell you that there are, as you know, steps that the commission can take if a school closes. closes improperly, we wrote that into the law back in 1995, that potentially there could be criminal charges. And
that's correct.
the kind of,
but this agency is not a law enforcement agency, Mr. Harris.
I understand. Okay. I'm aware of that, but I just want to know what other steps might be taken as a result of schools that are not closing properly. That's just a comment more than anything else. Mr. Chairman, thank you. I appreciate it.
This commission will certainly cooperate with any state attorney's office or other law enforcement agency which elects to criminally prosecute institutions which close improperly.
Yeah, Counselor, just so we're clear, all three of these have the exact same staff recommendation unless I'm not seeing any disparity, which finds that the institution has failed to conduct an orderly closure pursuant to Section 1005.36 Florida statutes and Rule 6E 2.009 Florida Administrative Code.
That's correct.
Yep,
and this is just a finding of fact. This is just a finding of fact, so we have it on our records. So in case any owner or administrator from these schools appears back before this commission with a new application to start another school, we have this finding on the record.
Yep. Well, I'm confident that it is the first step in many among us. We wish the best for the students who have been negatively affected here. So we did not ask during that discussion if there are representatives or any additional public comment from these schools before we ask for a motion by consent.
There is no additional public comment.
Okay, great. Then, if I'm okay to do so, is there a motion to accept staff recommendations on items 1, 2, and 3 in section 7 for improper school closures?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Thanks for keeping me on track there, Counselor. It appears that we have no more items on the agenda. If there is nothing further from the commissioners or from the director other than to say a very fond and heartfelt farewell to Commissioner Taylor Ellis, who has promised that we can all visit her, and she's going to have a large couch one day when we want to go to Virginia and see the fall colors, because we never get that down here. So, we do wish you well, young lady, and I'll echo that you will be sorely missed. And the counselor has big shoes to sit on the left there, because I'm so used to you being on the left there, and hope Eric can live up to that seat of being beside me. Though you're going to be really missed, and I know everyone keeps saying it, but we wish you the best up there. And when are you officially there now? Are you getting? Oh well, you can't be there now, but when will you officially be there?
Monday.
Awesome.
Yes.
That is outstanding. We love you, but not enough to help you move. So I hope that goes well.
And I will be. I texted Executive Director Hurst. I will be watching the May meeting. I will be sad. I'm going to be missing some very good, rich conversations. I will be watching on video.
Well, we appreciate it, and thanks again, Director. Do you have anything additional?
I do not, but just to echo that we will deeply miss you, and we wish you all the best. And congratulations to our newly appointed chair and our newly appointed vice chair. We look forward to the future meetings with you both in leadership positions.
Well, it's my honor, and I'm humbled by the opportunity and you guys' faith in my ability to do this. I will say that every person that we get to speak to here is an entrepreneur, and I enjoy that just about more than anything else in business, and talking with other business folks. And I if you can't tell, it's meaningful to me and something that I thoroughly enjoy. And I'm excited about the next couple of years and what this means for all the students across the state of Florida.
Well said. Thank you as well. Trey, you set a great precedent and example, and hope to reflect it in whatever capacity. Hopefully you have very few absences. But thank you all for your trust and the opportunity to serve. It is a gift and an honor, and I appreciate it.
I'm excited to work with you there, Troy. And tomorrow I am in and out of the meeting most of the day, so you would have the opportunity to step up to the plate. And I know it's going to be awesome. We're all excited to hit the non-degree granting institutions with you tomorrow.
Thank you. A quick technical question. I developed a boilerplate proposal for how to articulate the theory, the hybrid/theory formulation that we were discussing earlier. Director, what would be the best way for me to communicate that? Would it be to email that to you?
Yes, if you could email that to me, I would greatly appreciate it.
Great. Thank you.
Outstanding. Director, is anyone else on the line? Are there any other public comments before we move to recess?
That is it. Oh,
all right.
Wait,
Thank you to everyone for joining us today.
I spoke too soon.
Oh, okay.
There is one person, I think.
Yes,
Hello?
good afternoon. This is Dr. AJ with Otero Consulting Group. I just wanted to take a moment and express our gratitude for Commissioner Taylor Ellis for her dedication and service, and tell her that she will be very missed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You all have been amazing to work with.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks to everyone for being here. We will be back at 9 a.m. tomorrow for non-degree granting institutions. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and we will see you tomorrow. We are at recess.
Thank you.